A survey of 77 freshman business students at a large university produced the following results. Some of them read various journals, some of them read a combination thereof, some read all three journals. I'm not going to bother reading all of that stuff individually, but we're trying to figure out how many read none of the publications, how many read only Fortune. We're trying to figure out some additional information here based on those. I don't know why that came up. That chart keeps showing up in various parts. Alright, so I'm going to use a Venn diagram here. And in this Venn diagram, I'm going to represent these 77 business students. Looks like some of them read Bloomberg, I'll call that B. Some of them read Wall Street Journal, I'll call that W. And some of them read Fortune, I'll call that F. So let's go in that order: B, W, and F. Alright, it's a general good practice to start with the most strict statements here. And the most strict one here is saying that 9 students read all 3 of these journals. So I'm going to put a 9 in here. That will represent, this is the size of this particular region. And there's 9 people that have, within all the common area between all 3 of these. The intersection of these 3 sets, actually, is what it's called. Alright, I'm just going to work backwards here because that tends to be a good way of going about these. 13 read Bloomberg Business and Fortune. So they read Bloomberg and Fortune. That's 13 of them within this region right here. 9 of them are accounted for, which means there must be 4 right here. 11 read the Wall Street Journal and Fortune. Wall Street Journal is here, Fortune is here. That means 11 of them must be within this region. So that means 2 are unaccounted for. Alright, 11 read Bloomberg, but not the Wall Street Journal. So they read Bloomberg, but they did not read the Wall Street Journal. So we're not talking about this region right here. That would be if they read both Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal. Instead, we're taking Bloomberg and we're removing those who read the Wall Street Journal. So that means we're actually being left with this region right here. And in total, that should be 11 people. 4 of them are accounted for, which means there should be 7 in that region. 27 do not read Fortune. Okay, so they do not read Fortune, which means the outside of Fortune. These 4 regions. This one, this one, this one, and that one. That would be the regions that people who have not read Fortune. And you can see we only have one of those 4 numbers, so I actually can't use this piece of information yet. I have to have essentially only one of them being unknown in order to use these pieces of information. So let me just skip it for the moment and try Wall Street Journal. 19 have read the Wall Street Journal. So this region right here, there are 2 unknowns there, so I still don't have enough information to use that. Let me just keep going. 25 have read Bloomberg, or 25 do read Bloomberg, I should say. That's this region right here, and you can see there's only 1 unknown within Bloomberg, so I actually can use that information. Let's figure out how many are accounted for so far. 7 plus 4 plus 9 is 20. 20 of the students have been accounted, been in there so far already, and there's 25 total, which means this number must be 5. Alright, that actually gives me a little bit more information about the Wall Street Journal. Now there's only 1 unknown within the Wall Street Journal, so I will go ahead and use that information. There should be 19 total, and 5 plus 9 plus 2 are accounted for. That's 16 are accounted for of the 19, which means there should be 3 right here. Alright, so now 27 do not read Fortune. Well, I know this number, that number, that number. I do not know the number out here. So that means I know 3 of the 4 numbers. So let's figure out how many are accounted for. 7 plus 5 plus 3. 15 people who do not read Fortune have been accounted for. There's 27 total who do not read Fortune. That means there should be 12 out here. I actually have enough to read, enough to answer this first question, but I'm going to finish out my Venn diagram because I will probably need this number in here anyway. The only other thing I need to do, the only other number I can take into account is the fact that there's 77 students here total. And this is the only region where I don't have a number for it. So let me just go ahead and add these together. 12, 7, 5, 3, 9, 2, 4, 9, and 2 rather. 42 of the students have been accounted for so far. And so if I do 77 minus 42, I get 35 in here. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions. How many read none of the publications? Those would be the students that are outside all three of those. I'd say they're probably not in a very good location, because if you're a business major and you're not reading those, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're reading a different publication. Alright, how many read only Fortune? So the people who read Fortune, but they do not read Bloomberg, they do not read Wall Street Journal. Those would be these ones right here. Those 35. How many read Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, but not Fortune? So they read Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, so actually we're talking about this region right here, but they do not read Fortune, so we're kind of excluding these 9. We're actually just talking about those 5 right there. So there's 5 people who read Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, but not Fortune.